Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the 15th episode of the Totally Unqualified podcast. For those of you who can see, which I'm not sure if anybody will be able to see, discussions of getting back on YouTube are in talks. We have a special guest this week sitting next to me.
Yes, we do.
Who looks a little bit similar to me and sounds a little bit like me and has a 2-year age difference from me and like wanted to be Zac Efron when I was Sharpay.
Welcome, Will.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I feel so honored to be sitting here.
We're so happy that you happened to be home for spring break. And so before you jet off and jet back to school, we decided to take advantage of Will being here to have
Will
a very
in the
interesting... Will. Welcome, Will.
First of all, I love when my mom does stuff like that. Second of all, yeah, I'm a pretty candid person, excited to tell you guys.
Oh my God, you're going right into it.
No, I'm just giving like a little intro. Yeah, you guys pretty much said everything. So I'm a guest as well as a participant. So I'm excited.
All right.
No, you're a guest as well as a listener.
Yes. Guest as well as a listener.
And I guess he's participant are the same thing.
Trust me, I'm smart, guys.
Guest participant equals same thing.
Will, is there anything you want to say about yourself that you feel like would give the audience more context about you on the pod?
Yes, sure. I am 20 years old, turning 21 soon, so that's exciting. I go to school in Chicago. I go to Northwestern University. I am the typical younger sibling. I would say I love to piss off my mother, father, and sister.
Ain't that the truth?
Definitely like to wreak havoc at times. I'm extremely motivated. Studying.
Wow, we're getting the entire elevator pitch.
Studying economics and business at school. And I'm excited for you guys to learn more about me over the duration of the podcast.
All right.
Thanks for your...
I felt like that was pretty good.
That was
That
a
was
very
very
buttoned
good.
up intro.
Very nice. Very nice.
Can you tell that he's in the business world?
Yes. But buttoned right up.
Okay, so I know that we were supposed to record last week, but we were on vacation, and honestly, I was too relaxed to record. So sorry, not sorry at all.
Except we brought our microphones with us, which weighed a ton and weighed down my bags.
Okay, I just want to say
They weighed a lot.
we didn't bring the stands. We brought 2 microphones, the box that's this big that I had to carry, and 2 wires. It really wasn't that much.
I felt like it was
I
very
had
heavy.
to carry the majority of the things.
When
also,
every little inch, because we are a family that doesn't check our bags, you have to carry on anything you bring. And so when that happens, every ounce counts and every inch. So sorry that we weren't here last week.
I don't feel bad. I'm not sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, we were relaxing. We took a much needed break.
We did.
Anyway, we're doing a regular format for the episode. Since Will is a participant, guest, and listener, he knows the drill.
A triple threat.
That's
Triple
right.
threat. So regular episode today and nothing else on my end. I'm sure there's some housekeeping.
There is indeed housekeeping. 2 items that I'd like to speak about. One is, it's not okay when we go away and we don't tell people that there's no pod. I think, listeners, we need to alert you somehow on our social. That way you don't wonder if we're ever coming back again, right? I think we need to.
I think we said that we were going on vacation on the
We
last
did, but we said we
episode.
were going to record from vacation, then we didn't. And I
Yeah.
think it's like a fake out. And then we lose listeners because
I don't think we lose listen. I don't think we got a lot of listeners to lose, to be honest.
We do. We're growing. We do.
Oh, we're growing exponentially. I don't think we have listeners to lose, but we will alert when there isn't going to be an episode.
That was mean. You're like mean to our listeners who are amazing and so good to us.
It's like the election. Every listener matters. Every listener counts, guys.
That's right. Every listener does matter. And we want you to feel special, you, our listeners. So I think we should tell people or do something on social when we are not going to have a pod. And also, there are a few of our listeners who've said to me they liked watching us on YouTube. And I know that it might be harder for you to put it up, possibly.
It's not harder for me to put it up. If we're going to be absolutely candid, I just don't like how I look in some of the episodes. And to be completely honest, it's a podcast. So I'll think on it. But, a podcast is a podcast.
I know, but there are people who like watching. And so
I think the celebrities have set the precedent that now there needs to be a video component, but all of the OG podcasts do not have videos, thus it being called a podcast. So I will think on it, but I don't know. I'm not like, I think that part of the fact that you make a podcast is that people don't have the ability to watch it and just want to have something to listen to, and that some people think it's harder to have a video component. It also then, if we're making it for video, then do we add in a visual component? Do we add in things that people can see?
Yes. So then I was wondering, that was my other piece of my housekeeping. Well, I guess I view it as a smorgasbord. And so you could watch or listen. That way we give you the option. And if you were someone who watched, then you might comment on our decor and have ideas about whether or not we should be changing the decor, if you like the decor. So I'm interested in exploring the visuals.
TBD. Depends on how I'm feeling about it. I don't know. I feel like a podcast is a podcast, and that's a little bit of a hill that I get to die on. And I also think that TikToks allow for you to see us. So if you want to see us, you can follow us on social media to see clips. Will?
First of all, Ava today has been a little bit of a spicy salmon, I feel like.
She is being a little bit of a spicy salmon.
I just feel like it's a podcast for a reason.
She's being a spicy salmon.
Spicy. It's sneaky salmon, right?
Sneaky salmon.
But she's not being sneaky. She's being spicy.
I just think that it's a podcast.
Second thing is, for you listeners, if you really want to see what everyone looks like, then you can ask to be a participant.
That's true.
Yeah. Or you
Always
can watch
looking
the
out for the
TikTok.
marketing.
Or you can watch the TikToks. Then you get a sense of certain clips and then not the whole thing. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm a little bit adverse. I think it ruins the idea of what a podcast is, but I'm a spicy salmon, as Will said.
Okay, so kicking off the spiciness of the spicy salmon, let's hear what everyone's loves and hates are this week. Ava, would you like to go first, and then we'll pass it to our special guest?
Should we start with our love or our hate?
Let's start with love. Spread positivity always.
So my love of the week are my glasses. I just got them. They're blue, and if you're watching it on TikTok, because if you're a loyal fan, you should be watching us on Instagram and TikTok. They're very spicy salmon. They're bright blue, and I love them. I needed a change of eyewear. My other ones are scratched.
Love them.
They look really good on Ava, and I would say if I didn't think so. So that tells a lot, in my opinion.
I agree. Okay, Will, would you like to tell your love of the week?
Yes. My love of the week. Oh, I have a good love of the week. So at school, I have finished up a lot of my credits, so I now get to take fun courses that I'm interested in, sort of, and get to explore a lot of different new parts of myself and dimensions. And so because of that, one of the things I love to do more than anything is sing in the shower and sing like no one is listening. And because of that, I knew that, and I love these vocal shows like The X Factor is my ride or die.
Will said that if he were to have unlimited money, he would pay to produce and bring back The X Factor with himself as the lead judge.
Like, we can take this offline, guys, if like you want to get into like the nitty gritty X Factor, because I have a lot to say. I could talk your ear off, but for the sake of time and boredom, yes, I think that I wanted to take vocal lessons so it doesn't sound like nails on a chalkboard whenever I'm like screaming these music songs that I love, like Kelly Clarkson in the shower. So because of that, I applied. Northwestern has a really great music school, and because of that, it's hard for non-majors to take music courses, and I have absolutely zero vocal, any sort of inclination.
Wait, when he says zero, he means zero.
he was practicing for an hour and a half the other day
On
to
the
one of
beach.
his friends. No. Before
Oh.
that, to one of his friends. And every single time he'd be like, so did that version sound good? And she was like, no, Will, it doesn't sound any better.
Yeah, it was a kind of like a put down instead of a put up. But
What did you end up singing?
we'll get to that, but they need to know why I'm
I
singing
forgot.
first. So they have this course that you could take vocal coaching for, but it's super competitive. Like, all of these people that probably like did choir, can like sing the music book, like everything, were like auditioning as well. I emailed the woman. It was basically just like, I love to sing. Like, can you let me audition? Because it's an audition process. Like, they take themselves very seriously for a class. Like, I'm getting course credit for this class. It's vocal coaching, beginner, obviously.
Obviously.
And so I
Cannot read sheet music.
Oh, she did ask me actually if I could read sheet music, because I said I play guitar. Like, I used to play guitar, and she fully was like, yeah, so can you read sheet music? And I was like, yeah, totally. Like, I played guitar for so many years. And she was like, okay, well, it's okay if you can't, but that's really important. And I was just thinking to myself, what the hell is sheet music? But so
okay, let's keep going.
then she
So
asked
what
me my
happened?
song. I sang my song.
What was your song?
My song was called Stay by Sugarland.
How does that go?
I heard it on the X Factor, of
How
course.
does it go?
Of course.
How does it go?
We're not going to do a little...
Like, what are the words?
Why? I don't want to sing it. But anyways, she told me I was very expressive. I did a great job. And that...
Expressive?
She used the word verbatim expressive, and I felt extremely proud of myself. She told me that I was getting, she didn't say this exactly, but I was getting the sense that she thought I had star quality.
Oh my God.
And so what happened?
So today I got the email that she can place me and that I got the vocal coaching,
Yay.
which is great. I know
So-
this is like very insignificant, but a win is a win. So take what we can get.
Will is going to star in the Winter Musicale.
Absolutely never.
High School Musical? Well, that's so good.
But
That's a
I
good
just
one.
think it's important to take risks and to do things that push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Would you call it a healthy risk?
I would not call it a healthy risk. And I actually don't like the term healthy risk, because a risk is risky for a reason. So it shouldn't be healthy.
Oh,
Well, I think people think
You
that there
could,
are risks where you could jump off a building.
you could
and
take
hurt
that
yourself.
out.
If it's a risk, then that's not a risk. If it's a healthy risk, then it's not a risk because you know what the outcome's going to be.
I guess it's
you
the
should talk
definition
to
of healthy.
the director of our sleepaway camp about that one, because we grew up on the healthy risk.
Those weren't healthy risks. Those were healthy choices that they say are risks.
Okay.
Interesting.
Hot take.
You guys can let me know at Will. Actually, I don't remember my Instagram username. Thoughts on healthy risks versus
you can
risks.
Will hates the healthy
on
risks.
the pod.
On the
Instagram.
pod, yeah, write down.
Oh, I actually, sorry to cut this off, but I totally forgot about this. I've been starting to do a little bit of polling on the podcast Instagram based upon the clips that we create. And 2 weeks ago, we talked about restaurant chains.
Oh, yes. This was it for the housekeeping.
Yeah, I'm
Backing up,
sorry, I'm backing up.
Ellen's love is coming shortly. Stay
But
tuned.
I just
Thanks
want
for
to
watching
know,
out
I
for me,
posted on the listener. I posted on the Instagram, and 32% of listeners believe that 2 or more restaurants are constituting a chain, where 68% of listeners believe that 3 or more restaurants constitute a chain.
Yes, I believe the Oracle, you know who you are, and your family disagreed on the amount of stores that equal a chain. I believe Oracle thought one thing, and Oracle's spouse thought another thing, and Oracle's child thought a third thing.
And then I asked about restaurant chains that people like
Yes.
that aren't fast food and what they would consider. And some responses I got were Westville, which is a New York City kind of diner-like chain.
Whoever wrote Westville may want to not communicate with me and my mom. Not a huge fan, but continue listening to the podcast. Appreciate it.
Hillstone, which is also known as Houston's in different cities, is a chain that people think isn't thought of as a chain. Peter Luger, Pop-Up Bagels, Nobu, Magnolia Bakery, as they've been expanding. The Butcher's Daughter, which is kind of local to New York, but nonetheless, they do have a few locations. Serafina, and a place called Ruby's, which I don't know if I would consider.
Now I'm thinking about brunch, and it's like Sarah Beth's can be in that situation.
It would.
Jack's wife Frida. Have you heard of that place?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
There's
that would
more
be in
than
that.
2.
I guess
I'm there
sure
is.
So is there a difference between those chains and like Burger King and McDonald's?
Oh,
No, those are
100%.
fast food. That was the
Yes.
whole distinguishing
know.
factor. Those are fast food and these are a chain.
Right. Chain, but a restaurant, good restaurant.
So I guess it's
chain.
like chain doesn't equal fast food. Like you would never classify Wahlburgers and Burger King in the same sort of sector,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I think confusing are those middle ground ones that are kind of neither. You don't know where
Red
to place
Lobster,
them.
Olive
It's
Garden.
a fast
No,
food.
those are I think of a being chain, solidly fast
Wait.
foody chain.
Fast food.
Fast food.
You're using fast food and chain interchangeably
Yeah,
now.
sorry. Okay, fast food, but then there might be one, as I brought up, like Panera. That's fast food, but I think they see or
Panera's no different than Red Lobster.
that's what.
No different than Red Lobster.
I took a marketing class actually, and we did this sort of conversation not about chains, but the idea that like Panera, Red Lobster, Olive Garden, that sort of like sector is different, like a full different
Thank you.
consumer segment than
Then
McDonald's, Burger King.
Thank you very much, Will. Will, you and I are on the same page today. I like
Like
it
they
very
cater
much.
to different groups.
Yes.
See,
Because it's more of a sit down,
Yeah. 100%.
sit for a minute, as opposed to grabbing it.
I
to
think
take
the
out.
second you have a commercial, you got a commercial and you're fast food.
No, I think some are, they gear towards like take and grab and go, like a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's or a Taco Bell. And some, like Olive Garden, you sit, or Red Lobster, they're restaurants where you sit.
Yeah, but I still don't think that it's like high quality, elevated
I
in
think
any
we're
way. I
all
think
in
it's
agreement.
fast food.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is
with
fast food. It's just a higher level of fast food.
Right, but what we were talking about is more on the chain side. It's this elevated
you. What makes
version.
a chain? How many make a chain?
I guess there's no fast food place that isn't a chain.
Yes. Well, no,
No, that's not true. There's
Is
like
there?
a one-off burger stand.
Yeah, there could be a burger
or-
place that feels.
Okay, I feel like we're getting back into this,
Yeah,
and the
sorry.
point of that was just to share what our listeners thought.
I'm a
But
talker.
Okay, so I'm going to do my love this week. And my love was the destination we went to. We went to a small island in the Caribbean that you have to get to really by ferry. And it is part of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I loved it because it's very small. It's called Bequia. It has beautiful beaches. The people could not have been nicer. And there's enough to do to make it fun, but not so much to do and not commercial. So it is super, super relaxing. And it was just really nice to be there, and it was beautiful. So that was my love. I love Bequia. I want to go back immediately.
vacation was the overall love, I think, of the week, if we all were to have one.
Yes, and the place we stayed, the people, the resort staff was just incredible, like so nice.
So I don't know if this is going to be everybody's hate, but I know that it's going to be a story. So the hate of the week for me, I don't know if anybody else agrees, is our trek home.
Yes.
I knew she was
Okay.
going to say that.
Yes.
I was not going to say that.
Well, I was going to be very specific about what part
But
of the
so since you guys are forced to listen to me, and I think this is a good story, you guys can chime in as I tell it. But this is the story of our trek home. So first things first, we had to wake up very early in the morning and go to a boat to take us to the mainland. And then from there, we had to take a car to a hotel where we waited to then be able to go to the airport. So first we go on the boat, which
it's
is
a ferry. It's a big ferry.
It's a big ferry, like people transport their cars on it. So it's a massive boat, and you are really rocking back and forth. The water was rough.
Could I just interject that it's a ferry with no stabilizers, if that helps everyone envision what it was like. And it's a very windy place.
Very windy. You are going up and down for about 45 minutes. So that wasn't great. You don't feel great after that. Also, a whole day of travel, not an ideal situation. So we get there, you feel a little bit woozy, but okay. Then we get in the car, we drive about 30 minutes to a little hotel
No,
stop.
not 30 minutes. Just 10 minutes to the...
Oh, right. 10
The
minutes.
hotel was like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. So 10 minutes to the hotel because we had a lot of time in between our flight and the ferry because the ferries run very infrequently. It's a small island. Okay, that's fine. We make it to the hotel. We eat lunch at the hotel. We get back in the car to drive 40 minutes to the airport, where we took a back route through what the taxi driver called the jungle side, and it was unlike anything I've ever experienced. He was whipping through these turns at 1,000,000 miles an hour because there was a huge accident on the one highway on the island, so he wanted to avoid that. So already not feeling too hot.
And the roads are very narrow. You easily can crash into a car coming in the other direction. And when Ava says whipping, he was
flying. I think it was supposed to take us 40 minutes to get to the airport, and it took us about 25.
But at the same time, like, I trusted him with my life.
Totally.
he was
incredible.
great, but it was a very intense drive.
Up and down, hills, mountains.
Like you speed bumps, like he was flying through.
If I have a medical emergency, I'm calling him to pick me up.
JR. He was amazing.
So then we get to the airport. Everything is fine and dandy. We're getting ready. We don't have that much time for our flight. And suddenly it hits me. I felt like shit. I was literally so sick. I felt like, as we all know, I have celiac. I felt like I ate gluten. And I was like, oh my God, this is not okay. I'm not doing well. I run to the bathroom twice to, sorry if this is very graphic, but I threw up twice, ran to the bathroom, was like, okay, I'm fine. I'll get on the flight, whatever. Literally 5 minutes before we board the flight, a wave of nausea hits me like it's never hit me before, okay? I am sweating profusely. I am not doing well. It is then our time to board. I stand up. I give my boarding pass. My boarding pass gets checked.
No.
Yes. She looked at my boarding pass, and then I threw up in my mouth, and you said, wait until we get outside. They have to let you on the plane if you're outside because you board outside. Like, you have to walk up the steps to get onto the plane. I threw up in my mouth, was holding in my mouth, and then threw up again, and then threw up probably 5 more times.
Wait, threw up all over the
myself.
All over everything as people were standing in line to board, to board the plane.
I Tracy Morgan'd everywhere. If you don't get the reference, look up Tracy Morgan at the Knicks game. That was me. I was wearing an all-white outfit. And they didn't want me to get on the flight, and I was determined. I would not take no.
So they pulled us over. Let's say that they pulled us over, you and me.
I was brought to the men's bathroom.
Ava, Eric, and Will we told them to just get on the flight and they should go home. But typically, an airline does not let you fly if you are sick, if a passenger's sick, which I knew, which is why I was trying to tell Ava to just like get outside and get checked in and then throw up. So, yeah, we got pulled aside, and then they
didn't want me to fly.
They took our passports. They asked what was wrong. They said people were coming to talk to Ava. They wanted to know why she was throwing up. They were trying to assess how sick she was. And so Will and Eric thought we were not getting on the flight.
But I was determined nonetheless. I ripped off my clothes, threw them away, quite literally into the garbage of the men's bathroom at Argyle International Airport. I slapped on a new outfit, lifted up my 40-pound bag, and said, I'm feeling completely fine. And guess what? I got on that plane. So I get on the plane.
Wait. I just have to say,
there you go. I just have to say,
your inner strength, it was incredible. I mean, Ava looked so bad, and she was trying to smile for the gate agents, and trying to just pull it all off. And out of nowhere, this burst of something. She's like, I'm absolutely fine. I can get on the flight. I feel fine. She grabbed her bag, picked it up, and off she went. It was inner strength like I've never seen.
Yep. So we made it to Miami. We land in Miami, and of course they don't have a gate for us, and we have about an hour to connect. They finally find a gate for us. We have to run to the air tram, Miami International Airport. If you're listening to this, you fucking suck. Fuck that. I hated that airport more than anything. So we had to take an air
friendly. I have other choice words.
Yeah, Miami International Airport needs they need to look at their
get your shit together.
Yes, their UX is not. It's never been good, but it seems like
everything about
worse.
It fucking sucks. So we had to then run to the air tram to go through customs, which was relatively quick, and then after customs, we had to go through security check to a connecting flight, which I have never had happen to me before in my entire life. I've never had to TSA from a connection because you got TSA'd to get on the first flight. It was a mess. The line sucked.
They don't let you. We might say hundreds of people in the connecting line.
They didn't let Will or me use our TSA pre-check.
They were like everyone's pre-check, and I said, you're telling me every 300 people in one line that you have to go through with is pre-check? And then they didn't respond to that.
Because our parents are straight up not pre-check, so get like us. So then I decide, Ellen was more casual about the situation. She's like, well, it's okay if Dad and I don't get on the flight. I had already Tracy Morgan, okay? I wasn't going to give up in Miami. So I look at the line and I go, our flight board's in 5 minutes. Can I please go? Everybody in line let me go. I don't know why you didn't follow me. That's still a question.
It wasn't
to
5
this
minutes.
day.
We had 25 minutes to get through the line.
No, we didn't.
Yes,
It was not
did.
25.
20
It was like 15.
We had 20 minutes. No,
was-
because
the
you said
flights-
to me, because you said to me, at 15 minutes, they won't let you board the plane.
But that was because that they had been at like group 3, group
Yeah.
4
No, I
know.
boarding.
Yeah.
So
The
it was
boarding,
more.
it was,
I made it
No,
by-
you made it, but boarding had been started.
Yeah.
No, I know,
It wasn't 15 minutes until boarding
No,
starts.
no,
It
I
was
know.
15 minutes until the
there
gate is closed, or 20 minutes until
20
the
minutes
gate
until
is,
the gate closed.
20
we had
minutes
20
until the
minutes,
gate-
Ava, to go through.
Right, but when I was in line, Will said to me they are already on boarding group 4,
And
which
they
was
were.
our group.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
But I know that they give you up until 15 minutes ahead of time. We had 20 minutes. I saw the sign. I knew my gate. I thought it would be tight.
And it was a long walk to the gate.
It was a very long. We were 49. And
Yeah.
starting at
I
1.
hauled fucking ass.
Yeah,
let me
so
tell
did
you.
I. So did I. Will and I really fought to be on that flight. So we get on the flight.
Wait, unless you think this is the end of the story, the story is just beginning.
We get on the flight and it looks like the United Nations. Okay, it's a Miami flight to New York. So literally every single type of possible person in the entire universe is on this flight. It is a fully booked flight of every single background person, place, everything. Okay, literally young, old, babies, people who are 95 who need to be wheeled on. Like literally it's everybody on this flight.
Screaming babies.
So we get on the flight. Okay, fine. We take off. First,
Oh, we also didn't eat dinner. We're not going to get into that.
No, we
but
can't get
didn't-
into
But
it.
we didn't eat dinner.
We're going to get into it.
No, we're
in
not
our
gonna
later
get into
segment.
it.
Oh, yes.
No,
we
we
are.
are not.
You're not going to want to get into it with us, but okay. So, we get on and we're about, I want to say like 45 minutes into our flight when the lights come on and a medical emergency in row 27 something is happening.
It was
18.
Oh,
It was
really?
18C.
We were row 10 and it was 18.
18C,
Really?
yes.
Oh, I thought it was
18C.
like way farther back.
No.
Oh no, Shorty was right there.
And this older woman,
Okay, older woman is friendly. She wasn't that old.
Really? She looked.
she wasn't young.
She had good skin.
Okay.
The flight attendants asked for if there were a doctor, a nurse, or medical professional on the flight. So we knew there was a medical emergency. We will say, and let's not say the airline, because there was one flight attendant who was just not having the whole thing. She was just like, I knew this flight was going to be a disaster, she said as she walked
Yeah.
by us, because she liked Will. She and
Yeah.
Will bonded over the insanity of the flight.
And was it a disaster? Oh, it was. This woman for about the rest of the flight, so that's like
An hour and a half. Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours. The nurse and the doctor stood over this woman who said that she was having shallowness of breath and like chest pains. She was anxious. Okay, that is what we've decided.
But let's
she
not
was
be callous about people who are genuinely
okay. Well,
sick.
we knew she was going to be a problem from the minute she stepped foot on the flight because the flight attendant tried to help her with her bags and she yelled at everybody.
It's
so
true.
we knew that she was going to be a
She
problem.
was problematic. The sweetest flight attendant was sort of trailing behind her
And
as she got on.
she wouldn't
and
allow
she
help.
was just rude to him.
Okay, so everybody is, when there's a medical emergency on the flight, the automatic vibe of the flight is completely ruined because nobody's sleeping, the lights are on, and now everybody feels free to talk.
And people are worried that we're going to be diverted, right? That was our big fear. Are we going to be sent back to Miami? Are we going to be landing in Virginia, Atlanta?
I
wherever
literally
we
was
were?
going through like staying with my first year of college roommate in Charlottesville, Virginia.
So we're stressed out at the whole flight. They literally are with her the entire flight, the doctor and the nurse. We finally land. It could not have taken
Wait,
longer.
the flight attendant did walk by and under her breath said to Will, "She's fine.
Yeah.
She's fine."
She's fine. She was literally just anxious. Like, I feel completely comfortable saying that. So then we land And we're like, oh my God, great. We're literally in such a close row. We'll be able to get
Can I
right
say
off
one
the.
thing?
Yeah.
One thing, I walked by the flight attendant in the middle of this whole debacle and I said, I don't give a shit. This flight is not turning the fuck around. We are going to JFK.
Did she laugh?
She was like, she said something like, you're telling me or something, like agree. She like laughed, yeah.
So we land, we get there. Everybody's like, oh, thank God we can get off the plane.
Because by now it's 12:30. It's 12:30 in the morning.
Yes,
right?
yes. And our day started at 8
Right.
a.m. And no, we couldn't get up. We had to wait for New York's finest to get on board and assess her and make sure that she was okay. In which she decided that she did not want to get on the wheelchair and come off of the plane when we landed. So suddenly,
Well, we were flying.
all she wanted to do was get off the plane. Suddenly, she has an emotional attachment to the Boeing 737 and has to stay on. So I'd say that took another 15 minutes of convincing.
At least. And then they had to bring in the wheelchair for her.
They had to bring in the wheelchair for her, and they sent quite literally the biggest man to bring her the wheelchair.
And all he kept doing, he really felt badly for all the passengers because we all had to sit there. And so as he's walking down the aisle, he's saying, I'm going as fast as I can. I want to get you off this plane.
Like, literally, it was horrible. So then we make it, finally, JFK, whatever. We're here, we're home, whatever.
Yeah, we got home at 2,
amazing.
right?
Wait,
1:45,
we get into our cab, and somebody left their phone in our cab.
Yes.
We're like, oh no. I try to give it to the cab driver. The cab attendant catches me. She's like, you got to bring it to Terminal 4 to the Lost and Found.
Right now.
Right now. Will looks at the cab driver and goes, we are not going to Terminal 4. I wonder if that person ever got their phone back.
The cab driver was so nice. He's like, I'm not going to Terminal 4.
We're not doing
You guys
that.
are going home.
We're going home. So we made it home. It was probably the worst day of my life. I have never thrown up like that in front of people. Honestly, I feel like if I was a little less mentally strong, I would be haunted by that, but I don't give a shit. I was sick.
It could have been much, much worse. When Ava was on the plane, I was concerned
It
that
was
she
pretty
might.
bad.
No, but I thought you really slept on the first flight and you were at least like semi-comfortable. You could have ended up in the bathroom the whole flight. And that would have
Yes,
been much
I
worse.
also just want to say that I don't think that anybody has the physical or mental strength that I have other than a Navy SEAL, because not only did I throw up all over myself, was sick. There was a minute where I said to myself, like, I might die in St. Vincent. Like, I really had never felt that bad in my entire life. And let me just say, not only did I slap on new clothes, get on that flight, but I successfully skipped the security line as well as sprinted to the gate.
She did.
So I just want you all to know that nobody does it quite like me.
It was that you were able to have enough strength to like run that Miami. That was just terrible.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I've been such a
I'm going to
fitness
say my
guru.
hate was your hate because that was a long
Yes,
story.
that was.
So we all have the same hate. Miami International.
I don't know what you could hate more than that this week.
Oh, mine is quick. Mine's like not a story.
Okay.
Mine's not a story. It's just something that I really decided that I really do hate. I'd love to know the audience's opinion on this.
Please.
It's kind of interesting in my opinion. I've decided that I really hate buffets. I really hate a buffet. I'm never happy with a buffet. I like a menu. I like to pick what you want from the menu. And the other thing I will say is that when it's a buffet, I guess you can take as much as you want, but because of that, they upcharge you a lot of it. Like, I'm pretty sure that we had one of the dinners at the resort was a buffet. I'm pretty sure it was more expensive than the other dinners because they can serve stuff like lobster and all different types of meat. And so I've decided the food tastes worse, it's more expensive, and I'm not a fan at all.
I hear you. A lot of people, I know a lot of people who hygienically do
Yeah,
not like
that's
a
a problem
buffet.
as well. Also,
Phoebe Buffet.
I come to a restaurant to sit down and relax, and then you have to go up and walk around. I guess like some people like that it's quick, but like it's kind of gross when you just see food standing
Agreed.
out.
I also
But
just
all
like
that food was covered.
Not all of it.
not all of it.
Really?
The meat
Also-
wasn't covered because it was coming off the grill.
Oh, well,
that's
I liked
fine.
I actually don't mind a breakfast buffet.
I didn't like a.
I don't like a buffet either.
I don't like-
They were cooking you eggs separately.
I don't like to do the work.
I don't like any sort of buffet.
I liked
Yeah.
it. I didn't mind.
All right, so loves and hates are done. Sorry, that was a long section. I think the rest of the episode will be a little bit quicker. Moving on.
Well, are we in a time crunch? Should we answer a question or should we not? Will, are you feeling time crunched?
I'm feeling like we can do whatever the podcast.
Okay, then we'll answer
wanna
the
do.
question.
We can answer the
Okay.
question. Are
So-
you
I'm good.
I mean, it's a pretty concise question. A listener wrote in and said, went on 2 great dates with a guy. Clear communication, no games. Then suddenly, in the last 10 minutes of date number 2, the vibe shifted. The next morning, I received a polite anti-ghost text saying that it would be better if we were friends. I think the question here is about not really picking up on the vibe, especially because this person was surprised by receiving that text.
Well, what did the person ask? So they wasn't about confidence?
There was actually no question, but I
Oh.
do know the backstory. So I think that the question more so is about like giving off the right vibe on dates, how to like not let it hurt your feelings if somebody is not into you in the way that you thought. Yeah, and feelings on that.
Well, my feeling is I can understand how your confidence would be shaken on a date like that or in a situation like that. And I think that is very hard we all take things very personally. And so I would feel very upset. So how do you insulate yourself and make yourself feel better when that happens, right? Because you want the person to feel like you're amazing, right? You are amazing, and maybe this person, it just wasn't a good fit, and maybe actually I think it was good that the person didn't ghost this other person.
Yeah.
So that I think was a positive. And so you just have to remember that there are all different kinds of people, and not everybody is your person. So you should feel amazing about yourself and who you are.
I totally agree. That was actually my first thought is as much as I like to think that everyone would be in love with me and obsessed with me, unfortunately, everyone is not for everyone.
That's right.
And I think that especially when you have a very open and accepting heart, you too want to believe that everybody is for everybody, especially when you're looking for something, but also when you're just like a liker of people. And so when it's not a match or when your intentions don't align or you see each other differently, I think it's also a blow because you then realize that not everybody is, you know, interested in getting to know each other in the same way. And that's a good
Yes.
thing, right?
Right.
Like people should
Exactly.
be different. But when you are somebody who, I'm saying this about myself too, listener, I think so too, but I'll speak more for myself. Like, I think that I go into dating and meeting people and, you know, putting myself out there as like so open-minded and like, I hope that everybody likes me and I hope that I like everyone. And so when you get the feedback that you might not be for the person, even if you don't think you're for each other, it still hurts because in your
Totally.
most optimistic of minds, like, you really want to foster relationships with every single person you meet, whether it's a friendship or, you know, something romantic.
Oh my God, I think you're being so nice about this. I just feel like everybody, of course, should like me, right? I mean, don't people feel that way? Like, of course, you think you're great. So you're like, why wouldn't they like me?
If I was a less controversial character, I would think that about myself. But I also know that...
I think that's part of it. Part of it, too, is, and I think it's really hard to get the 30,000-foot view, which is, how are you... I'm going to say it about myself. How was I projecting myself? Because I misread cues a lot. And I was like, wait, I thought it was good, and it wasn't. And so... maybe there was some way I was coming off, right? That I was maybe kind of, I don't know, just not aware of my own behavior.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that if this then becomes a reoccurring theme of like, now you're going on date after date with person after person, and every single person, you think that it's something and every single person thinks it's something else, then I would say, maybe we're being a little too optimistic and maybe there needs to be some inward reflection.
But now that I'm thinking about it, okay, I'm going to say like maybe I talked too much, right? Like maybe on a date I was talking too much. And so maybe that made somebody not like me. But should I change myself? Like, why don't I just find someone who would like that I was talking?
Right. But I think that there's then a balance, right? Like, I don't think that there's harm in asking if it becomes like a regular thing. I don't think it's...
You're asking yourself?
No, asking the person. Like,
did I do something?
No, like, thank you for letting me know. Like, is there any specific reason why you don't think we're compatible?
It's like a job. It's like when you ask for feedback
but
on a job.
But I'm sorry. If it keeps... I'm not saying that for this situation it's going to keep happening. But I'm saying that, like, if it does, there's so much inward reflecting I can do, right? Like,
clearly they don't want to be with you anyways.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Why do you care if you're...
There are only so many times I can say to myself, like, maybe I'm a bitch. And then I can hear it from somebody else to be like, you're a little bit aggressive and, like, we're giving, like, too much opinion on the date. And then maybe it happens again with someone else. And I say, is there a reason? They say, you're a little too aggressive and gave your opinion so much. And then I'm thinking, maybe I do that too much, and it's a little off-putting for the second date.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
Go, what?
Just
like
burst in.
Just like come in. Because you guys seem to be on a roll. I just wanted to say, what was interesting about this situation, in my opinion, was that like it was all going well, and then she felt like the 15 minutes, like the energy shifted. And I think that probably is the hardest part, or at least that would be for me, is like the energy just shifted, and like there might not even be an explanation as to why. Like it sounds like to me that you just felt like the vibes were off, and that sucks because you genuinely felt like everything was going well, and it's like, how did this just happen? And so I just think that sometimes there just isn't an answer. Like maybe it's just like not a good match. Like maybe it isn't like you did XYZ wrong. You were farting during dinner. You were picking your nose. You were talking about politics. Maybe it's just like something wasn't there. And I think that that's something to think about.
And then what? Just move on.
I think it's one of those things that's like cut bait and move on, because you want someone to like all of the qualities of you. So like if you're talking too much on a date, if that was an issue, I kind of agree. Think to yourself like, well, would they like me if I didn't talk so much? And then when we were together, they would like that? Probably not. So if you think about it in that sense, I'm changing myself. You wouldn't want to be changing yourself in the relationship that you had.
Yeah, I agree. I think the final thing that I would want to say about this is I do think that I possess a unique skill, and I don't want to say I'm the only person to have this skill, but I think that I do it well.
Eva's really full of herself. She is a spicy salmon this week. Spicy.
I really am able to possess the skill of knowing if somebody likes me or like wants.
I suck at that so much.
I'm so good at me. Like I always know when somebody likes me, and I'm not saying it's a foolproof system, and I'm not even saying there is a system. I just like literally think that I'm amazing at picking up energy, but I do think that part of dating, unfortunately, I'm doing that too now. Is getting kind of like, you're so focused on yourself and the answers that you're giving and how you're portraying yourself when you're on a date, But I do think that it is a little easier than you think to tell if the person is into you if you get out of your head and think like, how are they responding to the things that I'm saying? How much, I'm not kidding. Like, I always used to think it was such a lie, but like, eye contact truly is so telling. Like, if you can't hold eye contact, like, I don't think they like you that much. Like, I just think that, like, with physical cues, how your bodies are leaning in, like, that kind of stuff can often get so overlooked because you're so in your head about how you're acting. But I do think that you sussing out the vibe shift is a good indicator that you're aware of what the other person is portraying. And that is way better than you being clueless about it and being like, I don't know what happened. It was an amazing date.
Yeah, I think that's good advice because I knew Dad didn't look past me, right? You know how sometimes
It's
you're
your
talking
favorite
to
thing
someone,
to say on the
It's true.
podcast.
It's true. He looked at me when we
It
talked.
was love at first sight, guys.
He looked at me, bless you. He didn't look past me. And that was telling that he was interested in what I had to say.
But what I will say,
Clearly, that didn't just...
not to disagree with you both, but like that is something that I'm not good at. Like I've had so many instances where like you think everything is going amazing, and like I have that so much, and like it's like I felt like the eye contact was good, like the body language was good, not in that situation, but just in general. And then it doesn't happen, like, and then there's
I think it's a life thing, like in friendships and this, and like just in workplaces. Like, I think that you just need to take a step back of thinking of only how you're acting in the situation and kind of like observe how the other person is acting.
I think the more, like, I told Mom this quote earlier this week because like I read it somewhere and it was really good. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at your haircut. I didn't realize you got it cut.
This quote that was like, life got so much better when you stopped pouring water into people's cups that wouldn't pour it into yours. And I think that I think that just relates so much to this. It's like, if they're not gonna like give you what you need, then they're clearly not the right fit for you.
All right, that's a good place to leave it.
Sometimes it takes a minute, though, to know that.
They went on 2 dates.
Right? Like, sometimes
It
you
wasn't like
mirror each other until you get to know each other better. Like, if the vibe is low-key, shouldn't you be low-key for
No.
the beginning? No?
But also, it was 2 dates. My point was that, like, you're saying, like,
Be
it's
yourself.
hard to move on. Like, if it's hard to move on after 2 dates, there might be a bigger issue.
I don't think it's hard to move on. I think it's
What do you
jarring.
You're like you're saying.
No,
like,
I don't think it's hard to move on.
on.
I think it's I don't think it's hard to move on. I think it's like hard on your confidence. right?
Yeah.
To get back up and be
Of
like,
course.
wow, I don't feel great. I'm scared to go. On a
Yeah,
date
I mean, it
again.
sucks.
That's hard.
It sucks.
You don't want to be rejected. No one likes that.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
It's so true. If anybody really wants to succeed in life, follow Will. All Will does is take his shot.
Yeah, take risks, guys.
Not healthy ones.
Not
All
healthy
right.
ones. Risky risks.
Okay.
Topic of the week.
Topic of
Let's
the week.
cut to.
I am in charge of the topic of the week. And since we have both of you together, I wanted to talk about sibling relationships. And I wanted to talk about what you think the benefits are. What do you think the pitfalls can be? So I think not all siblings are close to each other. And I think it's lucky that you guys are close, but you do fight quite a bit. So I would like to start off by asking, do you think you're similar to each other or different?
You can go first.
And and other siblings you know?
I think that I decided when I was younger that I didn't have a younger sister, so I'm going to make my brother like everything that I like. And when we were younger, for the most part, I think I was wildly successful, and it was really hurtful for Will to create his own identity because his identity before that was everything that I like to do. And I still think that we're different in terms of interests. We don't watch the same TV shows. Will is more mathematical. I am more creative. But I think that fundamentally, we're very much the same.
That's so interesting.
You think we're different?
I do. I think that,
we're both outspoken.
I think that we have similar qualities, but different. I think we have similar qualities, different traits, and some different values.
See, I think our values are pretty much the same.
I don't.
Like, you value money more than me.
You value religion more than me.
Okay. But I don't think it's like I don't think it's a fundamental difference where it gets in the way. It's just like what we hold to be more important to us is different. But I don't think that it's not like I'm the anti-capitalist. Will's working in finance. I am disgusted. It's just like I'm not as financially literate or interested in it as you are.
I agree. I just personally feel like when it goes to like a realm of like politics and lifestyle, sort of like that type of religion, that sort of stuff, I feel like you are much more similar to both of our parents, and I feel like I'm different in that sense than all three of them.
But I don't think that we're diametrically opposed.
I don't think we're diametrically opposed, but I think we're different in like what we choose to care about and what we don't.
Yeah, but I also think that like, okay, maybe our values and the way that we rank our values are different, but I think that the way that we act in most situations are pretty much the same.
Yeah, like we always agree.
We
usually
respond
on
to
people.
everything different,
Like
everything the same.
Like we see people the same way, sort of. Like
yeah,
we always
we
share
do
similar
like and
opinions.
dislike the same people.
We like and dislike the same people. Like we have similar opinions.
When
on,
we
like,
both get like mad if there's like a conflict with like a like a customer service person or like that kind of thing, like we respond in the same way.
We feel similar about like when we do something right versus when we do something wrong, I would say.
Yeah, so I think fundamentally we are very similar.
But I think that our values are different and like our interests are different in our lifestyle.
Your values might be the things that you value. Or
is that different?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, because
like you value wealth more than I do.
Yeah, I think the things that we value are different. And the ways, I feel like what we value and the ways we choose to live our lives are different.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like, there are some things. I mean, now that I'm literally so skinny and slender and disappearing and working out, I would say that we're getting more similar because my lifestyle is really embodying one of somebody with a clean colon. But yeah, I think that that's not inaccurate. But I really think that we're similar. Like, we both balance going out with work and friendships. I really think we're similar.
I think this is what, at least I was thinking. It's not foolproof, but I think we see things in a very similar way, but we might choose to act or react in different ways.
See, I don't agree with that.
Really?
Okay, let's keep going.
Anyways,
so
we're similar and different, guys.
I want to know, do you guys think that siblings have a special bond?
Yeah.
And is there something that the bond will take you guys through life in a different way than friendships and other relationships?
100%.
Yeah. Nobody else grows up in your house.
Yeah, I think that, like, it's not that when I look at my sister, I see all of the memories that we had, but it's just, like, something that's just, like, not even spoken about. Like, you have, like, been with them throughout your entire life. Not 10 years, not 5 years, not 2 years, but your whole life.
But we've also...
Or I have as the young person.
We have also intentionally chosen to be close.
Do you think you've chosen that?
Like, I think that whenever Will and I like have conflict, like I think Will is such an asshole, and I think that like if I did not want to maintain a relationship with him because I felt like he was being an asshole or that was like in his personality, I could distance myself. But I think that we both love each other enough and enjoy each other's company enough to want to be close. But like, does it piss me off that he doesn't respond to his texts and he calls me like once in a blue moon? Yeah, I think it's rude.
I think that like, well, yeah, that all makes sense. My thinking was that even if you have a sibling that you're like not close with, unless something of course traumatic could have happened and there's so much more like external stuff, but even if you just have a sibling that you're not close with, I still think that your relationship is still special in a way and still significant. Like we don't have to go into specifics, but like you have siblings. I wouldn't say that like you're equally close with them, but I still think that you would feel the sense of like, they're my sister, they're my brother. Like it's different. Like when push comes to shove, like they're my siblings.
Yeah, I do believe that there is a bond of family and a bond that siblings have. And often siblings don't get along and they're really different and they don't see eye to eye. But to me, if you need something, in my experience, your sibling is there for you. And I think that's very lucky, right? That you can have somebody in your life, like you guys have each other. If something happens to me or to Dad or to both of us, that you guys will have each other and that you know where you are from. And I think that's something.
I also think that it kind of is the responsibility of the older sibling to foster the relationship. I know that that's the kind of thing that like, oh, you grow out of that and this and that. But like, I do cut Will more slack than I should because like, I do think that I should be more forward with maintaining the relationship as I am just like the older one. Like I'm just more adult. But I still think it's rude when you don't respond to me.
I mean, people get busy, first of all.
Okay, well, it's literally bullshit.
Second of all, you don't exactly say anything important. You just say like, hi.
Yeah, exactly. I want to blab. Respond.
But there's nothing to blab about. Like when I call you, you'll then be like not
yeah,
have
if
that
you're
much
not,
to say.
Yeah, because you're not giving me anything to work with.
What? Like,
Okay.
I don't even know how.
All right, next question. So this week when we were on the flight from hell, I was annoyed because I did not get a chance to pick up food. And someone in my family did and didn't get food for me. And I got on the plane and I was very annoyed, and that was Will. And then I see, and I'm in the middle seat, right? Even though I wasn't given the middle seat, I was given the aisle. But Will has taken the aisle, and I have taken the aisle.
No,
I was
he
sitting in my
offered,
assigned
and he
seat,
offered
and
to
I
switch
offered.
with you.
And I was sitting in my
He genuinely
disagreeing.
offered.
We
offered-
checked it.
we-
It was your two
You
seats
gave
that were
Dad.
seats.
No, you
had
gave
the
Dad
you had
your
the window.
seat.
and I
Yeah, I was
always
only
had
in the first one. Okay, enough.
Will offered
let's
you
move
his
on.
seat.
Let's move on.
And I was sitting in my
Okay,
assigned
know.
seat.
here's
I
really
know.
what I want to say. Excuse me. What I really want to say is I'm sitting in the middle seat and I see that both my children are texting, and they are texting each other and complaining about me. And I am furious, absolutely furious. I put in my headphones, I listen to my book because I'm pissed. So I do want to know the dynamic of, is there always, when you're friends with there are three people who are friends, always one person's on the out, like two get along and one's on the out. So we have 4 people in our family, but for all intents and purposes, Dad and I make 1. So do you guys feel like you can either get along with each other or
No.
me and Dad?
There
Or
have been
how's the relationship work?
There have been a lot of instances in which Will has done something, and I've been like, that was like not okay.
Oh.
Like it's actually pretty rare that
We are never on the same side of
ever.
agreements.
That was actually
You guys,
yeah.
my sister, my mom, I don't know what it is about my mom, but it's like whenever she's mad, 90% of the time, including me, everyone takes her side except for the person that she's mad at.
Yeah. But in this situation, which is a rare one, Will and I actually happened to both be on the same side and felt as though there were multiple pitfalls in your anger, which we don't need to go into. But usually we don't agree, actually. So it was rare that we were actually texting.
So
usually like Will send a text and be like, ugh, Mom is being so annoying.
And then Ava will be like, no, you messed up. And I'm like,
but
no, I didn't.
Actually, that time Will did say Mom is being annoying, and I said totally agree. So that's not usually the case.
So here's a question. Okay, so I get it with me or with Dad. If someone's coming at one of you, do you feel the need? It's kind of like, I can talk shit about my mother, but nobody else can talk shit about her.
Did we get into a fight with somebody at a bar recently? Will and I have gone into a few fights with people in the past.
I've had issues with this with my friends, like not big ones, but like if anyone, it depends on the comments. Like we both, like Ava can think I'm an asshole. I can think she's like such a bitch. Like we both can feel that way. And I think other people could probably feel that way on both ends. But it's still at the same time, like you can't really talk about someone else's family in a negative light. I think that you should support your friend, but I don't think you should talk negatively about someone else's family.
So you guys feel like if someone's coming at one of you, the other one jumps in to protect.
Yeah. I think we've gone into fights with people.
Are we really ever in that position?
No.
I just think that...
Well, now you go out sometimes together.
But there would never... I don't think... Like, I don't know. If Ava was being rude, usually my friends and I agree. So in that situation, if they're like, Ava's being rude to me, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know why she's being rude to you. Or Ava's not talking to me. I say that to my friend. They'll be like, yeah, why is she being so rude to you? Like, it's usually an agreement. But if it feels like I've had one situation where someone was like, yeah, like your sister was just not nice to me. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, don't talk about my sister like that. like she actually did a lot of nice things for you. I don't want to go into more specifics, but, and the person,
yeah, how do you like my closet?
And the person backed down.
Yeah, I mean, how do you like wearing my clothes?
So I think, yeah.
We can discuss offline.
Ooh, one more thing on Ava's side. I think one of her friends, when we were really young, said, like elementary school, said something mean about me to Ava, and Ava was so mad.
I don't remember.
I remember this, but I don't remember who.
Yeah, I think we both possess the feisty gene, like we both will say it, but I think usually when like one of us is acting poorly, I think the other one is aware of it. It's just whether or not we want to defend the other person.
But in terms of the ganging up, I would say that usually
we don't agree.
It's typically, I'm saying like if someone else like if we'll like defend the other like person, usually I sort of feel like with my friends, like your opinion is your opinion is your opinion. Yeah. So I'm not upset that if you don't like.
So you don't feel the natural instinct to protect because she's family.
No, I don't. Unless it's like a character thing or something that I felt like was unacceptable. I think it depends. And in that sense, then I would 100% step in.
Okay, so 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up. So what do you think the best thing about having a sibling is?
That for most of my life, Will did everything that I wanted him to do with me.
But not anymore. And
no, honestly, he kind of still does. Less so, like there's more arguing, but when I want to do something, Will does it.
For me, I think that maybe this is just me as like a person. I like a lot of energy. I get bored when it's like stale. I told our family this, like we met some cool people on the trip and we never really meet people on trips. And I love to just like talk to people and bring new energy in and like change things up. I just think it makes things more exciting. And so I think that with a sibling, you always have that person that like on family dinners or family trips or anything in that sort of communal basis, you have someone to do things with. I think that's the best thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can get that. We did meet people, and by the way,
guys, we never make vacation friends,
and I've been texting my 2 new friends or 3, and it's really nice, and we're going to get together. Okay, what's the worst part of having a sibling?
I yell at Ava like no one else. I yell at my mom. It probably, like Ava, it's like she knows, and I think for her too, like the exact pressure point that will like piss someone off. And so I feel like I can scream at Ava like I've never screamed
Guys,
at anyone.
I literally have
Oh my
had
God.
multiple occasions where Will has yelled at me in public, and I have been scared that a police officer was going to come over to me and say, "Ma'am, is this man harassing you?" Because he gets so mad at me. But understood. I guess my least favorite part of having a sibling is, I guess it's more so that we're like long distance siblings right now, but I can't always tell if we're on the same page about things because you're so far away. Like, we're not really interacting like every day. So there are some things that I think are a little mysterious in more than I would like them to be.
I'll just say that, like, I think when you're younger, you probably, like, with siblings share a lot more. I think that, like, when you get older, it's good. I don't want to say it's good to have secrets, but, like, it's good to have independence. And, like, there are some things you can...
Absolutely not.
There are some things you can choose to share, and there's some things that you shouldn't share.
I feel that Will is the younger sibling breaking away for his own independence
You
from,
tell me
from the older
she's
sibling who
talking
wants
like
a
that,
mirror
whereas
image.
I
felt
tell
like
you
when we-
literally
No,
everything.
she doesn't. No, even when we were younger, I always felt like there was stuff you did not tell me.
But that was because you were young, period.
But I still feel
I wouldn't be like, yeah, in 10th grade, I'm telling my 8th grade brother that there was
7th
alcohol
grade.
at a party.
But
I totally think that you're like the secret keeper and I am like the tell-all Sally.
But I feel like, she's making it sound as if it's like she shares so much.
I
And then
do.
I share so little. When
You
I
do.
I don't feel like it's like that. I just think that we each have parts of ourselves that we like to share and parts that we like to conceal. And so like, just because you're someone's sibling or just because you're someone's parent or child or anything, that doesn't mean you're entitled to know every single part of that.
Yeah,
person.
I'm
And
with you.
to that
I
I
think you gotta
say,
break away.
boo.
Okay, so let's wrap it up.
So
I
Will's
do-
keeping secrets from
I
me.
do.
No,
secrets.
What are your
Will's just
secrets?
independent.
They're secrets for a reason.
I don't want there
There's
to be
no big
secrets.
secrets, but my point, Ava.
There are no big secrets?
No.
Will, you better not.
What is he
Better not involve.
Yeah, what if
anything
he's
with
like running
illegal
what if
No,
he's running a
no.
drug ring or
But, like,
something? There are no secrets?
no.
Like, what the hell?
I mean, like, we know what we project and what we share, but we all have things that we don't share.
you don't share
You have
anything.
things you don't share.
I will
have
say,
things
I
was
share
re-
everything.
I will say, I was really shocked when we went to Madrid, and Will was like, "Come on, we're going to the casino," and he sat himself down at the blackjack table. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even know you knew how
Yeah,
to
Will
play.
is literally such a secret keeper. I'm
and Will
so
like
over
made
it.
his spending money in Europe by
Boo.
playing blackjack.
I'm over this secret.
She has more
Okay.
secrets.
I
than
don't
us.
have more
Okay,
secrets
okay,
than
okay.
you.
Not more than me, but you have more than you're letting
Hello.
on.
Oh
See,
my
this
God,
is
no, I
siblings.
don't.
Okay, let's wrap it up because no one wants to
Okay,
listen to
bye,
this.
guys.
No. We have one last question.
You said two. That was two.
Okay, but the last question is there anything you would say to people who do not like their sibling or do not have a good relationship
There's no
with their
pressure.
sibling?
I think that every sibling relationship is unique and nuanced, and there might be reasons for not liking each other. Just like I don't like Will right now because he keeps a million secrets from me.
What
But
if one sibling wants to be close and the other one doesn't?
I think that therapy.
Do you say something?
And
to
I
the
think
sibling?
that communication, and I think that, it's all about being honest and open and
she's saying that to you because of the secret comment.
Oh my God. I don't know what she wants from me. It's not like she's not like gonna sleep. Like she thinks that like she'll just touch my hand randomly or like stroke my head. And it's like, we're not lovers. Like you're not getting this side of me.
to be best friends.
We are best friends, but I don't tell my best friends everything too.
Okay, you're a freak for that.
What?
I think maybe best friends.
Maybe
you
you
might
need
tell
to
almost
open up
everything.
more. Oh, little
Anyways,
Will.
wait.
All right.
No, but I think that
Wait, I
everybody
actually
is
wanna say
entitled.
something.
Everybody's entitled to their own sibling relationships, and I think that they are very intense. They're very nuanced, and that there are a million reasons why you might not get along. I think that sibling therapy is honestly something that's super underrated. We don't do it because I thought we had an amazing relationship,
Oh my God.
but I think that like to have a third party perspective with siblings, I think is often really helpful because it can become this circular argument of an argument that you've had 100 times. I'm not saying this from experience. I'm saying it because I think that siblings often don't like each other because of like one big fight or one big thing that they can't agree on, or maybe there's a bunch of things built up over the years. So to get a perspective from somebody else, I think is always helpful. That being said, I think you're entitled to like and spend time with your sibling as much as you
parents
want.
often push siblings
This
together.
is what I was gonna say.
Often.
I'm gonna ask you a question. First of all, I agree with everything Ava said. If you are not close with your sibling, maybe that's okay. And everyone has their own unique relationship. We all can have issues. I think that would it be nice if you were close with your sibling and everything was kumbaya? Of course, but everything sometimes isn't, and so I think that's okay. But what I wanted to say was, and this will probably like cater towards like my mom and like their like being a parent, I think that parents have this sort of idea of like, if siblings are fighting, they'll say, you guys work it out amongst themselves, but they want you to like just forgive and act like everything's great between you guys. And I think that when you're young, that makes sense. But I think like when you reach the age of like 15, 16, like I think that parents should step back and respect that like maybe things aren't okay, and that some things maybe shouldn't just be forgiven, and that just because you're family, you should be able to just like get over something. Some things maybe aren't you're not able to get over. For us, we are, but for some siblings, it's different.
I don't know if I'm getting over this secret.
Oh my
No,
God.
I think that's true. I do think that's true. And I think parents tend to want their kids to be close because it's such a special relationship. And I think we want to feel like you have each other. If you have more than one child, you feel like you want your kids to have each other to go through life with because things get tough. So I think parents do tend to like, you know, maybe not take your issues as seriously when you're fighting with each other and say like, just get along. But I think you're right. As you get older, like you have your own personality and you're your own people.
Yeah.
And so you're not always going to get along, and maybe you only get along in a certain way.
Yeah. Like family dysfunction is normal. I just think that it's like when you're young people, parents tend to take your issues less seriously and be like, you need your sibling, get over it, whatever. I'm not getting involved, but you guys figure it out now, or like you both are in trouble. When I don't feel like it should be like that, and that some things like can really bother someone. And yeah, I think that that isn't always the best advice.
Yeah, I get that. All right. That was interesting. Whoa.
Will literally
I'm tired.
hates me.
I'm very tired.
We're gonna watch like White Lotus. I guess we're not as close as I ever thought we were.
Oh my God.
All right,
I don't
so-
have any big
no,
secrets.
and by the
My
way,
point
I
is
have
just
it
like,
in me to have this fight with you right now. I just
And
can't
if any
believe it.
kids are texting about their parents, you can get in touch with me because I know what that's like.
Okay, so you know where to listen at Totally Unqualified Podcast. Write into us if you have any questions. We'll be back next week like
We will
normal.
definitely be back next week.
And
Thanks for joining us, Will.
Will is Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets, and I am just merely trying to
okay, I'm
break
sorry that I
in.
don't want my life like to be a public autobiography.
Biography.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you guys. Bye.